Welcome back to the We See Monsters channel. I'm your host Jenna, and as promised, I will be continuing part 2 from last week's video involving the weird humanoid sightings taking place in the small area of Rootstown, Ohio. I posted one story last week that was a little bit longer, but this week I have a few smaller stories from multiple people who live in Rootstown. If anyone has any idea what this strange creature could be, go ahead and share your thoughts in the comments because I'm definitely intrigued to hear it. First, a little bit of a backstory. I'm a farmer and an avid hunter, so I know my way around my own fields. Anyway, this was last Thursday when this happened. I was getting ready to clock in after a long day of shop work on my deer, when I got a call from my brother-in-law, telling me that one of my cows broke a fence and is walking down the road. I told him to just leave it, and I'll come to get it. So I hopped in my truck, and I got a little bit of straw, so the cow would hopefully follow me. And then I went down to the cow's last known location. When I got there, he was eating weeds on the side of the road. I was walking over to get him, when I saw something. It kind of looked like an all-gray human, following and watching the cow. I called out to the cow, and the thing quickly left. One day, I was working on my lawnmower in the middle of my yard when I started getting a phone call with an unknown caller ID. At first, I thought this was someone pranking me, so I just ignored it, but it kept up for about 2 more minutes until I couldn't take it. So I answered the phone, and I said something like, "Okay, Jack, you got me." Jack is one of my friends, and I suspected he was doing this, but then it just hung up. I ignored it. After that, I didn't get any more calls. I was lying on my back for almost an hour, reattaching the blades to my mower deck, when I decided to go in and eat lunch. I stood up, and when I glanced towards my garage, I saw an all-gray figure standing there, and it seemed to be looking at me. It ran when I looked back. I have no idea what it was, but everyone else around here seems to be seeing it also. I don't know if this is much of a ghost story or not, but one time I was hunting on New Milford Road. It was in the woods behind this farm that looked kind of run down. When I parked my truck behind the barn, I was planning to walk through the field to get to the woods, so I didn't disturb any deer with my truck. As soon as I got out, I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. Now, I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that, so I paid no attention to it. This was at the beginning of August, so it was about 8:30 p.m., and I still had some sunlight. After walking through the field, which had been recently planted, I got to a thin line of trees that separated this field from one another. I found a good spot to wait for some buck to pass by, but it had been like 30 minutes, and I was getting nothing, not even a signal. I was considering leaving when I heard rustling, so I sat back down in the brush, and I got my rifle ready. It was getting dark, so I couldn't see all that well, but I just kept waiting for it to get closer. I waited about 2 minutes when I saw 2 white eyes about 50 feet away. At first I thought it was a deer, obviously, but the thing was up in a tree, and everyone knows deer can't climb trees, so I shrugged it off as some kind of owl, or maybe a big bat. That is, until I saw it scaling down the tree. Like, walking down the side of the tree. I don't know what it was, but suddenly this wave hit me, and I felt like I was being watched, like I had to run. When it got to the ground, I still couldn't see its body yet. It started getting closer, so I looked through my infrared scope on my rifle, and I saw the whole thing. It looked just like a human, but it had big, whitish grayish eyes with no pupil. Its body was gray, but really dark gray. I was looking at it, thinking maybe it was someone's malnourished dog or something, especially since it was very skinny. And then I heard what sounded like a tiger hiss, and it started coming at me very fast, so I took off running for my life through that field. When I got back to my truck, I got in and zoomed out of there. Now, like I said, I don't believe in ghosts or UFOs, so I'd like to say what I saw that day was a dog or maybe a coyote. But somehow, I'm sure that wasn't a dog. Whatever it was, it wanted to kill me. For more spooky content, you can click the links below to check out my TikTok and listen to the We See Monsters podcast.